I just went to go. I've never really looked up a Wikipedia. They introduced me to a group called the Temple of Set Illuminati that I didn't know existed. Yeah, the Tupac thing. I wasn't paying attention to that much. No, I was just more concerned about his well-being and the stuff that he was going through and all the criminal activity that causes those kind of conditions. And I wasn't thinking that much about government corruption. I was just looking out for him to just make decisions that wouldn't get him killed. But the little cute black girl at ASU was right. This conspiracy theory, whatever. I had a feeling he was going to get killed by the way he was acting, but the way he was acting was more honorable than I was even aware of. I wasn't really paying attention. I was a single dad raising Patrick, so I wasn't watching a lot of the movies and listening to a lot of the gossip not just know what he was talking about. I didn't hear it. And I liked Pac. I liked a lot of his movies and stuff. I wasn't really into his music, but the only hip hopper I was into at that time was Keith Elam, and that was it. Period. He was about the only one I would listen to. And I just really didn't have any use for Biggie Smalls and P. Diddy and any of those guys. I still don't. I don't listen to their music. The only one I listen to is Keith Elam. Right? That's it. So as far as hip hop goes, is there anybody that I listened to since they killed Guru? Guys, hip hop. No, I got Nucleus because it was charming and funny back in the day, and same with Skilo, and I really don't listen to hip hop. Just no, but that's the same thing. I don't listen to much of any contemporary music at all, if any. Period. I go listen to it. Okay, I'd still rather listen to Tommy Edwards and Nancy Wilson, and they're before my generation. They're my parents' generation. Okay, the music I listen to mainly is my Emily. I'm listening to Peter, Paul, and Mary, which is my parents' generation. So my kids and Sinatra and all that, yeah, they all listen to my parents' generation because I played it for them and they like it. And that's what I listened to, Dad. I was like, yeah, I hear you. Me too. And so, I'm more of my parents' generation, or that too. I did listen to some stuff in my generation, but that stuff I don't listen to as much as of my parents' generation. I have Cameo and who else did I used to listen to, y'all? Cameo, and I had a CD. Amy didn't like him. I liked him. I thought he was pretty cool. Lenny Kravitz. And I like Brian McKnight. Yeah, he's good. But just my generation, I'm trying to think, my generation, who did I listen to? Guru. Okay, I listened to Guru. I was into Guy. But the first album was the best. After, it's kind of like Maroon 5. First album was the best, then it kind of went, kind of like U2 did. First 5 albums were really good. Then we got to Octu Baby and Lemon, and everything just went, fell off a cliff, right? What the hell happened to these guys? Maybe somebody threatened them or something. I don't know. They made a lot of money and disappeared. And so, it's, you can't always, once you've stated the obvious, there's no reason to keep singing for money. But they keep going because it's all obviously broken, right? And when things are obviously broken, you have to just be able to understand. Like, there was a man named Muhammad, and he was the redeemer of the teachings of Jesus Christ in his time. And he told everybody not to write it down because the people that manipulate people with, he signed your bill, now you're a law, will take his story and turn it into tribal, mystical, magical, mythological gibberish, like what the Vatican did with Jesus. And what they do, they wrote it down, right? And everybody, it's not in the manual. If it's not in the manual, it doesn't exist, right? And you're like, that's bullshit. Just because I invent money and say that law is based on money doesn't mean that gravity has anything to do with money, right? Like when I tell people, money's not real. Yes, it is. I can touch it. Okay, go make love with your unicorn and have baby unicorns. You can't do that. That's just crazy. Okay, here's some more money, right? And when you're born superiorly and supremely intelligent because of your humility and your wisdom, because the soul that provides life to this temple. Okay, people read about your life story in buildings for over 1,000 years before you're even born. Okay, that's a significant human being to the course of human events in this world, right? So I'm not an egomaniac, and because the text has been manipulated by abusive people and people capitulate because they fear physical death, that doesn't make old Tim Tebow a crazy person. It just makes him just a reaction to the fear, right? No, because Tim Tebow ain't going to get up on YouTube and come up here and like on my thing and share it and go, this guy really is the real deal. He's the Messiah. He's too comfortable. He's got too much money. He worked hard for that money. He fought for that money. That's his money. It's going to keep him safe. And Lord God, Jesus Earl hasn't blessed the people in Mexico as much as Tim Tebow. They just weren't given the natural talents to make as much money to be comfortable and safe in hell as Tim Tebow. That's what his parents taught him because that's what the book says, right? It's whatever the book says. If I write down on a piece of paper that I'm gravity, then all the assholes agree to it and then try to make money off of me being gravity. Does that make me gravity? Hence there that does, Parsons. Son of a temple of Set Illuminati, right? And so, what you gonna do, right? And but the big thing, I know when I was told Dad this morning, but he doesn't get it. It's all about the Roman book, okay? And I went in and told him, I said, Barack Obama said the founding fathers made it really difficult to enact any change and with the linguistics that they set up for the government. It's, oh, no, they didn't, blah, blah, blah. It's like, Dad, the Code of Merit, Dad, I was in the military. And sat down and said, there's something really wrong here. I said it to my fellow guys in basic training, my fellow airmen. There's something really wrong here. Because this is a bastion of liberty and freedom and all this stuff, but what holds it in place is a totalitarian dictatorship, okay? The U.S. military is a totalitarian dictatorship, okay? If you get up and say they are wrong and refuse to obey their orders, they can murder you. Okay. Do you understand? They have a piece of paper that everybody agrees to and Congress certifies that if I get up and say, hey, I'm not going to mass murder the poor in Mexico to maintain the banking system of the USA, they can kill me according to their code of military justice. But that's not true. Okay. They can only kill me if I betray, quote, codes and laws, right? So if I say, I'm not going to mass murder poor people that are exploited and exposed and made to do horrible things to try to survive in Mexico and in other parts of the world, then they obviously can't publicly execute me. They can't shoot me or hang me, but they can try to poison me to death and then depress me to death with Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi indoctrination and abuse. Apparently, that is something in the linguistics that's okay. Okay, they can't publicly execute me. They can't hang me. They can't shoot me, okay? Now, if they can train a kid in Utah to shoot me on a college campus, well, yeah, hell, they'll go for that, right? Do you understand? And so these people, no one keeps me safe in the U.S. military. No one keeps me safe. The only thing they think they keep safe is their job and their brain chemical addiction and their career, okay? And the only thing that keeps the U.S. military safe from itself is me. Okay? Period. And that's the truth. And if you think any other way, you are delusional, you are sick, and like Lucy Parsons says, don't be fooled into believing that the wealthy will merely let you vote away their wealth. Okay? When you have money and the capacity to manipulate people with money, you have the delusion of power. Okay, and people in military careers have brain chemical addiction to manipulating people with violence, and they need money and people to accept money to be able to enforce and get people to capitulate and be addicted to that violence with them. Okay, and that's what we have, the Code of Military Justice. Okay, but fraud, waste, and abuse. I don't know anybody else in the United States of America, okay, that got offered on Messenger or publicly on their timeline on Facebook an invitation for lots of money into the Temple of Set Illuminati and rejected it, and told everybody publicly. Okay? Do you know any celebrities or pro football players or basketball players or, hip hoppers? Oh, yeah, they offered me the Temple of Set Illuminati on my Messenger or my timeline, but I turned it down. Then they kicked me off Facebook for good, and I don't even have a Facebook account anymore, and it's all Facebook's. Wow. Yeah, so I don't know anybody else. That one kid at Walmart came and shook my hand because they said it's more important to me to get his grandma off the freeway and out of the hospital and off of breathing machines and out of her cancer treatment than it is to me to have money to be comfortable in the Gila having sex with a superficial bimbo of a woman. And gosh damn it, that's gorgeous, right? And so people have to understand just how beautiful and amazing of a human being the Messiah it really is. Okay? He's an absolutely gorgeous human being. I am more attractive than Tom Cruise ever thought about being for 5 minutes in his entire fucking life. Morris Chestnut, Blair Underwood. Who's the new guys? The sexiest young homosexual man on People magazine? I didn't get the kid's name, but he's cute. Yeah, he's cute. I think James Cameron is just as cute. Okay. But his political, social agendas through sexual reproduction are radically different, right? Okay. I think he's just as cute of a kid. That's a cute kid. Yeah, he's cute. He's a real sweetheart. He tries hard to be a good person. He's incorrect about sin, though. We're inclined to... No, it's not true. It's not true. Sex is not a sin. Now, we have that, you grow up, I know girls are made for kissing. I don't want to chase them and beat them up, right? Okay, so, but wanting to, sitting there, why must I be a teenager? That's not sin. Sin is when you use girls for sex and you have no intention on being in a kind and faithful and a protecting relationship because you're selfish and you just want to have sex and conquest them. Now that's sin. And we're not all inclined to be that way in nature. And I don't think James Cameron is. I think he just has a bad interpretation of sin because Constantine and Jerome suck. All right. I don't think his dad sucks. I think his dad is scared of the corporations and the industries that have the profession he wants to get out of. But I think Kurt is fundamentally a good human being. And I know his kid is. But they're like Tim Tebow giving a wrong interpretation of the Gospels because of the story being written down by Jerome and Constantine. That's why Muhammad said you can't write it down. The truth becomes flesh, and it has to be lived by the eternal, holy, and faithful people that are the source of the books. Right? Okay. So last night I was going to make a video this morning going, do you guys got friends in Army Intel? Because that thing loaded, it was 15 plus minutes, and it loaded in 7 minutes. I was able to run in there, take a quick shower, wash off my bum, and go right to bed. And then sit in my bed and kind of chuckle to it a bit because I'm charming and funny. Hell yeah, I am. Okay. You bet your assets I am. And so this lady on the vacuum commercial's cute. Of course, she's selling something. Oh, she has a Vicon DeCarlo look. Could you guys give her my number? I'm just kidding around. Right now, this part of my recovery is very uncomfortable, especially with the fatty liver thing that I'm exercising out from my Moderna vaccine. It's very uncomfortable. Okay. And then it causes pain in the parts where the, quote, melanoma on my shins are. And also one of my tooth, at the beginning of the summer, there was lots of chemical problems, and it made one of my teeth crack, the back teeth. And so no, I don't blame the president. The president is a puppet for the military. and made to feel powerful because he feels like the puppet master when he's the puppet that's made to feel like the puppet master. Obama, does Obama get it? Yeah, he gets it, but he's too big of a chicken shit to say anything about it. Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid of dying. You crying over this clay? Yeah, you're afraid of being embarrassed. You're not afraid of dying. I'll protect you once you recognize me publicly. So you're only afraid of being embarrassed. And so to save out embarrassment, you'll deny children the world's prayer worldwide. Wow. Look, it's another video game.